This is why we don't care when people rob you. My name is Wolfie. Since this channel is pretty new, I thought I would kind of introduce myself a little bit so you know what experiences these opinions are coming from. So I'm a sex worker. Currently just doing online porn stuff, mostly because we're all in a quarantine. Pandemic isn't really the safest time to be doing in-person work. Just wanted to add, I'm not passing judgment on anyone who's currently working, doing in-person work during the pandemic. I'm lucky enough that I have like a bunch of jobs and situations have made it so I qualify for assistance right now, which I know many sex workers don't, so they have to keep working. So no judgment there. Just wanted to make sure that was clear. But for the past like several years, I've mostly supported myself doing like in-person full service sex work. I've also had experience doing professional domination, although more often I offered professional sub services, so it's a different kind of vibe. I've also been a stripper for not very long, but like enough to kind of like get a general idea of the vibe. And I have not recently, but in my past, kind of looked into like sugaring websites and spoken to a lot of like potential sugar daddies and that kind of thing. Yeah, so that's kind of a general idea of my experiences. Oh, also an important thing, I haven't done this personally, but one of my non-sex work jobs is I work as a frontline worker directly with street-based sex workers, so women who work outside for the most part. So while I don't have personal experiences in that, I have some pretty in-depth first-hand knowledge of just kind of like what goes on. So I can't really so much speak to the like emotional aspects of it, but as far as just like practically how stuff goes down, I kind of have a good idea. So my idea was I want to watch some content about sex workers, particularly stuff that's not really made by sex workers or for sex workers, stuff that's kind of just about sex workers, stuff that like might go viral on Facebook or that's on talk shows, the news, or just kind of like weird YouTube content that revolves around sex workers, just to kind of get like a reaction. I haven't watched any of these, so I'm hoping it'll be kind of funny, but I might just get mad. So let's start. This first one I have here is from like a morning talk show. It's called Cookie and Emily Argue the Difference Between Escorts and Prostitutes. So let's see what Emily and Cookie have to say about being escorts. So while this is actual sex workers speaking, this is morning TV, like it's not media for sex workers, so I figure it might be kind of edited or presented in a certain way that's not really how sex workers might have done it anyways.
It said no pimps, and so does that what makes you laugh about that?
It's funny how people have got this perception that escorts all stand on street corners with a pimp and a crack addiction. It's just not how it is.
Like that's fair. So like that's like a really common stereotype. Personally, because I'm like a frontline worker, I don't like to use really stigmatizing language about people who use drugs. And also I don't like, as a sex worker, to demean people who might not have as many privileges as I do among sex work, or just different life circumstances. So like how they do things might be different, but that doesn't make you better or worse than anyone. So like the standing on the street corner thing, like I'll have some words about that another time, but
Central communication
central agency. So what is this? Do they mean like the Illuminati but for hookers? Like what?
My money. I'm not giving somebody else my money.
Let's
That's what I do.
let's address that
Hell
issue.
yeah.
What's the difference between you and a prostitute?
Well, I think like you can sugarcoat it any way you want. An escort, well, I don't know if I'm supposed to say it.
Well, be careful what you say, but
Oh.
or a prostitute.
Yeah, or a prostitute. It's you can sugarcoat any.
I personally love calling myself a whore, a hooker, or whatever, but yeah, those are all really degrading words for sex workers. So unless you've like sucked dick for money, like keep those words out of your fucking mouth.
Girls, you can say any word you like, but at the end of the day, we do the same thing.
Right. So you are.
But I always think everybody sells something. We have a different idea of that. I just think that we just do it in a different way.
Yeah.
Like we're not
But
in
you
and out.
will pay money for sex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Not always. I mean, sometimes we're not having sex. Sometimes we're just going out and doing things, whatever.
Yeah.
But
So how much money I get?
I was going to ask you, how much money do you make?
Oh, I charge minimum £500 an hour.
Right.
But
Also, okay, when it comes to rates, a lot of these things, they tend to interview people who have like either really high rates or really low rates for it to be like shocking either way. But rates isn't like like you can't judge a person's worth based on how much they charge. That's really essential because it's so much about your region. So like for example, like I know in New York, like $500 an hour is like pretty standard for a lot of people. Like of course that's a generalization, but like when you're scrolling through escort websites, like that's not crazy large. Whereas in a lot of places, like if someone who doesn't have like a super strong following or something tries that, like they won't get any clients because it's not the standard. Like it would be something like $200. So often like big cities, the kind of average rates are higher, but of course there's a lot more people charging a lot less and charging a lot more because there's just a bigger group. I wanted to add that rates really change according to how privileged you are basically. So women of color, trans women, fat women usually have a very hard time charging as much as like skinny, white, traditionally or conventionally attractive women. So, well, they can, and there's many super successful women of color and trans women and larger women in sex work. That is also a huge barrier. So if you can't charge as much as skinny, already rich white girls, it's not because you're worth less, it's just because the world is shitty. But yeah, so don't rate shame. Your rate has nothing to do with your value as a person. It's just a business decision.
like it varies. So for a whole night, it could be like 5,000 to 10,000, depending on if they want the full experience. So
yearly, that's how you get drunk, basically.
So the experience, the full experience. Would you rather have dinner? Would you rather?
I do like the whole thing. I mean, because that means you get to know someone first. I mean, I've like we both have a nice regular base. So
I mean, yes, like I feel like it depends how you're connecting with a person, because there's some people that like you have like they're not rude, they're not gross or anything, you just don't have like an easy conversation, you just don't click in that way. So like they come in, they fuck you, and like it's not that it's like a negative thing, it's just like that's just all you really have in common. The worst is like having to have like a lot of social time with people who you just don't get along with, and it's not a reflection of them as a person, it's just like your compatibility. Awkward conversation is so much worse than sucking dick, in my opinion.
my best clients take me out. We go for dinner, cocktails, and then sometimes the theatre. Anywhere really, anywhere that they fancy, that we fancy. Sometimes a bit shopping, and then we'll probably spend the night together in this beautiful hotel or mine.
Oh, okay, so that was it. They didn't really get into like what they thought was the difference, because there's a shorter clip than I realized, but it sounds like they were kind of hinting towards it being about frequencies, like the other person was saying, going in and out. So there's kind of these terms like high volume, low volume, but like that's really personal. So like for someone, high volume might be one person every day. For some people it might be one person every hour. And like there's so many elements that go into that, like how like there's, I know a lot of people are in sex work because they have either physical or mental health issues that make it difficult for them to have like a regular 9-to-5 job. So for someone who has like chronic pain or fatigue or something, their low volume is gonna look different than someone who like rents a space every day or something, but they still stay low volume because, you know, like they have like hours between people, and like it really doesn't fucking matter. These guys who will be like, I would like to see can I be your first appointment of the day? Like, do you think pussies reset at midnight? So like if I fucked someone at 6 a.m. but then I go to sleep, does that count? Like it's just dumb. Okay, so I'm gonna go to another one. This one's called Olympian became $600 an hour escort. Why shouldn't I get paid for sex? Sure.
Susie Favor Hamilton from Madison, Wisconsin. She's the Olympic golden girl whose secret life as a Las Vegas escort shocked the nation.
Oh,
that
honey.
was that light bulb moment in my head.
It was just a bad picture.
Wow, well, why shouldn't I get paid for sex?
Susie Favor Hamilton is now speaking out about becoming a $600 an hour hooker. Under the name Kelly Lundy on her
Hooker.
website, she was actually listed as the #3 most sought after escort in all of Vegas.
One day, I had run a half marathon in the morning in a different state, hopped on an airplane, got to Vegas, had 5 appointments,
When you say 5 appointments, you mean 5?
5 different clients I saw
You
that
slept
day.
with 5 different men.
That day. Still after the 5 appointments.
I just gotta say, I wish I had her energy. Especially if she's an Olympian. It's not that she's just like, you know, railing coke or something to get through it, obviously. But like, no, 5 in a day isn't that crazy even. Just like running a marathon, getting on a plane, and then doing that. Like, damn, girl.
Endless energy. Couldn't sleep.
Favor Hamilton competed in 3 Olympics.
She looks
Her
fit.
final race was in Sydney, Australia in 2000, where she had this heartbreaking fall seen around the world. Susie Favor Hamilton's fallen down. She's making the stunning admission that she fell on purpose and was faking the stress for Harry Dolan.
It did look quite dramatic.
I pretended I was injured. I remember thinking, again, you're the worst person in the world. Look at what you just did.
We spoke to Elizabeth Vargas about the bombshell interview. airing
She seems to have
Friday
some
night on 24.
self-hate issues that predated sex work.
All of her life. You now look at her races with a whole different set of eyes. You know that because she talks us through what's going on in her head, how panicky she feels.
Favor Hamilton has also written a tell-all book, Fast Girl, a life spent running from madness.
Good name, Fast
She
Girl.
says bipolar disorder fueled her non-stop desire for sex. Her husband Mark is also speaking out now to say he knew all about her secret life.
The whole crazy chicks have the best pussy thing, while it's not okay to like fetishize someone's mental illness. Like, we know it's true. Crazy bitches have the best pussy.
Look, I don't know how anybody can understand how you didn't get up and say, I'm leaving you. This is crazy.
Sometimes I wonder that too.
He's a cock.
That's what I did though. I tuned out. You live your life, I live my life.
Honestly though, I know tons of escorts, porn stars, whatever, strippers, who are married, monogamous, and fucking boring, have like the boringest sex lives. Like, someone's job doesn't really tell you that much about like their relationships. Just saying.
Tried very hard to convince her this was a dumb idea, that she should not do this. But he was also desperate to keep her happy. She was in a deep, dark place at this point and had been for years.
Favor Hamilton's secret life came crashing down in 2012 when a client ratted her out, leading to headlines like, "On your mark, get set, ho," and "American Queen."
On your Okay. So I guess a lot of these that I've just found on YouTube, it's more like the news stories are just kind of the trailers, so I don't get that much to react to. But yeah. Let's see, what else do we got? So sugar baby allowance is $6,000 by her sugar daddy.
21-year-old Amanda P. is a sugar baby who has traveled to more than 20 countries and owns dozens of designer shoes and handbags, but she's just a regular college student. This is the life of a college sugar baby.
Sugar babies, they're people too.
How did you meet your sugar daddy?
I first met my sugar daddy at a website called thesugarbook.com. First time I heard about this website from my friend, and I noticed how your lifestyle just changed suddenly.
Okay, so far this seems like maybe an advertisement for this website. Like I said, I didn't watch these before, so that's the vibe I'm getting so far. This girl's so cute. I love her accent.
Sugar baby Amanda P. spends most of her free time working out and meeting rich older men or sugar daddies to fund her luxurious lifestyle. How much does your sugar daddy give you as allowance?
Actually, I get around $5,000 to $6,000 monthly, but it's all because of sugar daddy, and we're always traveling to some nice countries.
Sugar daddy, I love her.
Sugar baby Amanda met her sugar daddy on a website called The Sugar Book, designed for rich men to meet attractive women who seek the finer things in life. So tell me, what is The Sugar Book?
The Sugar Book is a dating website for sugar daddies and sugar babies.
Okay. Honestly, I was looking for like a certain kind of article that pops up on my feed a lot, but like this just seems like an ad for this website, so I'm honestly just gonna skip it. Alright, why don't we try some other kinds of content from not the news stuff. It's from Limitless EXP. It's called How to Save a Hooker.
You know, some of them say 100% real, but these are actually like famous models, so like there's no way that they're actually gonna be hookers.
One quick thing. So the like picture's not matching on the website thing. Well, like I didn't really get a say in the matter, but so they would have pictures of, you know, like very stereotypical, like skinny, long-haired, tan, blonde girls with big tits. And then they were speaking on the phone, like the person who did my phones was this like girl that I'd like met at weird fucking Quebec country raves. We worked at like a food stall together, and she just did tons and tons and tons of drugs. So I was like, she's pretty young too. I thought it was kind of weird, but it was just so awkward. And they were just like, you know, when guys show up, most of the time they're too horny to care, so they'll just go through with it. I'm like, man, that's such a shitty feeling though, that someone's like, oh, I guess I'll fuck you, even though you're like not what I was thinking was gonna be here or want. And I had tons of people just be like, oh, what the fuck, and like go away, or like try and show me the ad, and I'm like, yeah, I was like 20 or something. I just it was so uncomfortable. So I feel so bad for girls who work with those kind of agencies.
I was just perusing the internet, and I came across your back page. I was just kind of interested in having some fun, you know what I mean?
RIP back page.
I'm staying at the Venetian. Yeah, that'll be fun. That's 17501.
No, I hate talking on the phone. I'll talk on the phone for like a minute to be like, hey, this is me, you can hear my voice. I'm not like a scary dude. Maybe like my voice like matches my picture or not, whatever. 9 out of 10 times when people want to talk to you on the phone, it's because they're like jerking off on the other side of the phone and just wasting your time and don't have actually any intention of either meeting you or paying you or whatever. I'll come right over right now. Again, this is just like the way I work, but man, like I admire girls who can do that, because like I need like a couple hours to prep. Most people I know prefer to kind of, if not book weeks in advance, because that's tricky, like, you know, be like, hey, what time, or do you have any time available today? What time would be good for you? As opposed to like, are you free? Available? You avail? Come over. What do you, because like most of the time, like we aren't dressed up and like got our pussies shaved and like our hair done, wearing lingerie, just like hanging out at home, because walkers are people. So give us time if you want the fantasy. Uh-oh. Calling her from the room. I never thought of that because I'm Canadian, where it's actually legal, but that's a totally valid reason for not having a real picture on the website or online or just in public, is because it is illegal. You can, people love to fucking blackmail sex workers, especially, you know, like if they've got a kid and their fucking ex or whatever is mad at them. I've seen this happen to people where they'll like report them to whoever, whatever, just like try and get their kids taken away because they're mad at them, and they can weaponize their job against them. That's really fucked up. I have a feeling I'm gonna need it for this this thing. He doesn't even have a hotel room. Probably gonna go on a rant on why it's really fucked up to do this to someone.
So like, how does it work though exactly? Like, just like break it down for me.
I mean, normally I don't like talking about shit like this down here.
Like, are you like into like, you know, like anal and like stuff like that?
Somebody has to give me a lot of money to
Like how much money? Like a lot?
Yeah.
But do you give like good head?
I'm not comfortable talking about it downstairs. Like,
This fucking guy, I fucking hate this guy so fucking much. I'm sorry. Just like, he's clearly not gonna actually see this woman, but he's like downstairs being like, so do you like anal? Like, what, how's this?
stuff like that. I just order downstairs and like public.
She's very clearly uncomfortable and trying to like, you know, get to the working part, see what he actually wants, and he's just like fucking with her.
And I don't talk about stuff like that.
Just like a little bit of false advertising and shit.
Well, I mean, that's just how everything in the back page is. Cops look at the website every single day, and if they see that girl in a casino, she goes to jail automatically. So,
You offer a money back guarantee.
like, I've been in trouble before, and I don't have time to get in trouble right now.
What if I suck your dick but like not good enough?
You know, when you get somewhere, then you're expecting something different. I go in expecting like Disneyland, and then I go in and it's like a carnival. How long have you been doing this?
2 years.
How did you get into it?
She looks so over this.
There's so many other things you could be doing though.
She looks nice. Like, she probably spent a good couple of hours getting ready, you know, makeup and shit costs fucking money. Time costs fucking money. She might have had to find like a babysitter for her fucking kids. I need to stop swearing so much because I think YouTube doesn't like that. But like, she looks so frustrated. I feel so bad for her.
Oh my god, I don't want to talk about that right now. It's how people get in trouble. It's how people go to jail. And it's Saturday early, and I'm not trying to go to jail. So,
Unfortunately, I'm actually undercover, so I'm gonna have to take you.
really?
Yeah.
Like, why? Don't do that to me. Are you kidding?
No.
I'm sorry, he's pretending to be a fucking he's pretending to be a cop in the United States of America. This is a woman of color as well. Like, he's this like white guy just pretending to be a cop while wasting a sex worker's time for YouTube. This is 3 million views. He's got 1 million subscribers. Wow.
Really pretty girl, and I think, you know, you can do better than this.
This should be called How to Be a Complete and Total Waste of Space.
Are you getting out or what?
No, I'm not getting out. Oh, no. Not mean like escaping, like you're coming.
No, okay, listen. Like, I like giving people second chances.
Yes.
So, like, I heard you sound genuine, you sound sincere that you want to get out of this. You know what I mean?
Over this, like this week, it's like the second time this happened to me this week, and I'm just like, I don't have time for this. I'm stressed out. Like, I'm getting breaking out.
You don't need to do
I'm
this.
breaking out, and I'm like,
So, listen, I know it's a mistake, and, you know, it's just you can't just go.
How does he even pretend to have a moral high ground in this situation? I can't even believe that people this stupid exist.
That's, you know, in public, and it's not good. You're a pretty girl, you can do a million other things. So, like, I'm willing to let it go. What about the future? Am I gonna see you again?
no.
If I go to that back page, am I gonna see you on there?
No.
He won't, because they got rid of it with Sesta Festa. This is upsetting.
How do you, like, I feel weird, but I'm seriously like,
She's just fucking relieved that this person didn't ruin her life. This is exactly like that scene in like Fight Club where they like hold someone at gunpoint to make them feel better about their life. Like,
just the depth of like the stupidity, the self-importance, the misogyny, just the like sociopaths.
okay. This one is probably gonna be just as bad. $100 hooker versus $1,000 hooker. Boyfriends. Oh, anyway, okay.
Woo! Welcome back to the Boyfriends channel. So you've seen a lot of these cheap versus expensive videos. People doing like hamburgers or sushi or french fries. So today we're gonna do cheap versus expensive whores.
Whoa. I don't think we should use the word whores. Whores.
Why not? They're whores.
Well, because
This is a joke. They're saying this is a joke. Haha, guys, maybe we shouldn't call people whores. Lol. This is why we don't care when people rob you. You know?
Well, because no, there are people working for money. So like, there's sex workers. They just use sex to get money. So they work as whores. To get whore money. We should say sex worker.
Okay, so we're gonna call a $100 sex worker and a $1,000 sex worker and compare them.
Yeah, and because we're in the state of California, if we film it, it's considered a porn. So that's how we get away with it legally.
Awesome. And since I'm fucking the whores, I'm gonna become a porn star.
Okay. First off, like, a lot of escorts I know don't allow filming. I actually do, because I am like kind of, or have, I don't know, transitioned from doing in-person work to on-camera work. But so there's a lot of people who will do in-person work who would not be comfortable doing on-camera work, even though maybe there's less legal issues and prejudice like in the legal system. There's still so much stigma, and that's like a public thing. So a lot of escorts who are like parents or doctorate students or whatever the fuck, they don't want their images circulating, so they won't let you film. So let's see how this goes.
What? Yeah. No. You're not a star. You're just in one porn. I found this cheap one on Craigslist. Here we
one thing, like, if you do call a sex worker and like you don't talk to a girl or something, it's not always like a pimp situation. I know a lot of girls who, because they're busy and successful or whatever, they pay someone to manage their phones. While that's kind of like a red flag that this person might not be like totally independent, so like there could be things going on you don't know about, you don't jump to conclusions.
Her name's Ruby, and we found her on Instagram. Hi, is this Ruby?
Instagram?
Hi, my name is Joe.
How did she get away with that on Instagram? I've had my account deleted like every year.
I'm sure it won't be even in a whole hour. So, all right, bye, Ruby. Oh my God, she sounds so hot.
Okay, that's cute. One thing though, like, it's really dangerous to be public about being an escort on Instagram because they will just delete your shit. They delete it so fast. But I will say that people who kind of find you through like a public persona that isn't a sex worker persona are often way more willing to give you either more money or just pay you because they see you as like somehow more special than just like a regular hooker, which is like,
Well, I don't know. I look like shit.
it's fine. Oh my God, the leather suit.
Yeah, you're here? Yeah. Just go ahead and knock. Why does she need to knock? She has the door. Hey, Ruby.
Did they not tell her?
So, it's gonna be like a little bit more than we spoke about.
Oh, okay.
Get that bag.
It's okay. Come on in. I got plenty of.
Hell yeah, she shows up and there's 3.
Oh, no, it's cool. It's cool.
They didn't even tell her. They were like hiding. And poor girl.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Go get her. No, it's fine.
Go get her? What are you gonna do? Just like grab her? You can't legally kidnap hookers, guys. Damn straight. If her like average hourly rate is like 1,000 and now they want to like have 5 people there and film the actual sex as well, like, yeah, they each have to pay. It's not like you just get to surprise sex workers. There's no if you want to like have spontaneous sex, like find a spontaneous girlfriend, because you can't have spontaneous like surprises with a sex worker because that's scary. Like,
Wait, hold on.
Good.
What can I get for $4,000?
4,000?
4,000. Just $1,000.
So not 4,000. For 1,000.
Just 1,000.
smooth.
And filming it.
Just
What's that?
I like this girl. That's what you get.
Hey, let me walk you out.
They deserve that. They should have paid $5,000 for that.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ruby. Nice meeting you, Ruby.
Get it, Ruby.
Bye. I'll see you soon.
Oh, she's running. She was not comfortable. Yeah, that's what happened when you surprise someone. Like, even if you invited like a friend over to like maybe hook up, and then you're like, surprise, here's my 3 buddies and we're gonna film it. It's not normal behavior.
Hey, look at me.
I will say they weren't assholes to her, like, they were assholes to her as far as what the scenario they dreamed up, but they didn't seem to be actually rude, so they can live.
Joey? Yeah. Are you Donovan? Yep. You ready to be an Amazon? Yes, I am. All right.
This guy. I'm so confused. Was that staged? I'm just confused by that. Was that just a joke? I don't know.
We learned today. It turns out the cheaper form was a better value than the more expensive form. Not only was she a little bit prettier and better bang for your buck. However, I did contract syphilis. Syphilis is a serious disease. So we're trying to raise money to find a cure. So we made these shirts. Joey has syphilis, but we only made 10. So DM us on Instagram to get yours today at Boys Who Are Friends. Why does it say syphilis? What? Why does it say syphilis? Why does it say syphilis? It auto-corrected when I
Okay, well, that's a joke. Haha, hookers. Okay, well, that was annoying. What do I have to say about this? That was some pretty terrible content. I don't know, man, like, I think being terrible to sex workers as a joke is really played out. It makes you sound like a serial killer. Sex workers are people. Most of them better people than you. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about all that. Like, I just don't even understand these people. Okay, so hopefully some of that was vaguely entertaining for you more than it was for me. I'm gonna try and find some more interesting things to react to around sex work. Maybe some things with some actual more substance, or like things that are like saying anything that maybe I can even just like comment on, because all this was just pretty dumb. All right, thanks for watching. I'm gonna be putting out more stuff soon. Probably gonna go put something up my butt now for the internet. All right.